Hello everyone, this is Professor Hitesh Madare, HOD, Computer Engineering Department of Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to learn about the practical number 13 of Database Management System. It states that PLSQL program based on implicit and explicit cursors. The practical significance is to create RDBMS private area, that is a cursor. PLSQL blocks uses a select command that returns more than one rows. Oracle displays error message for displaying too many rows. So for resolving such problems, cursors are used. Relevant program outcomes covered in this experiments is basic knowledge, discipline knowledge, experiments and practice, engineering tools and communication. Competency and practical skill. This practical will help in developing the following skills among the students, that is writing, saving and executing a PLSQL program. Relevant course outcome achieved here are writing a PLSQL code for a given database. Practical outcomes covered here is to write, compile, execute PLSQL program using any RDBMS software. Write PLSQL programs for implementation of implicit as well as the explicit cursor. And relevant effective domain related outcomes are select proper programming environment for PLSQL, follow safety measures and follow ethical practices. Minimum theoretical background required is about the implicit and explicit cursor, which I have already covered in the theory sessions. You can refer to the video of the same. Steps for executing the explicit cursor is declaring the cursor, opening of the cursor, fetching the data from the cursor one row at a time into the memory variable, and then processing the data held in the memory variable as required using the loops, and then exit the loop after processing is complete. After that, close the cursor. Procedure is to open a notepad and write a program in it, save the program using .sql extension, take that program on the SQL command prompt and execute the program and check the output. But we are directly using the SQL prompt for this particular experiment, so we are not using the notepad. Directly we are writing the all the PLSQL commands on the directly on the prompt. These are the minimum configuration that is required to perform the experiment. Precautions: all SQL statement must end with a semicolon. White space that is used in SQL is used to describe the blanks and tabs and follow safety practices. These are the system configuration that we have used for the particular experiment. Now starting with first with the implicit cursor. So here is an employee table that we have already created in experiment number 3 and 4. So using the same, so first we will check the data of the employee table, that is select star from employee. Here we have a total of 9 rows. So data we have of 9 employees. So on this we will apply an implicit cursor. So this is the PLSQL code for the cursor. So starting with the declare, so variable that is total rows of type number. So this will hold the number of rows that are selected in your cursor. Begin. Now just writing an update statement, that is update employee set salary equal to salary plus 3000. Means using this PLSQL block I want to just add the salary of every employee by 3000. So just after this execution I want to check how many rows are being updated. So if, like here, if, now since I'm using the implicit cursor, so it is preceded by SQL, then percentage not found, means if there are no employees found in the employee table, then DBMS output.put line no employees selected. So if there is no updation, so it will give me the number of rows that are being updated. So if there is no updation, it will give me as a not found. So if not found is true, means there are no employees, so no employees selected, this will be the message given. Else if SQL percentage found, means if there is at least one row or more than one row, then this will be true. Then it will assign the value, that is total rows equal to SQL.row count. So this cursor will count the number of rows that are being affected. So that number will be given in the total rows, and then I will display the number of rows selected. Then end if and end. So in this, I have taken one variable, I have written an update query, then I have checked whether using the cursor not found, whether the record existed or not. If not, then it will show no employees existed. If it is existed, then it will give me the row count, and then I have displayed the row. So once you execute this query, PLSQL block, you will see it is showing me as a 9 selected. We have already seen in the previous slide that a total there are 9 rows. So here it is showing me the 9 rows as that is selected, right? So after this, we want to check whether the update has been done or not. So this again, I say select start from employee. So you can see here the salary that is incremented by 3000. So the current, that was the employee, he was having a salary first initially 19,500, which has been incremented by 3000. Similarly, for the rest of the employees, it has been incremented. So this is how you use your implicit cursor. Now most of the time we directly use the implicit cursor, but we require some cursor that should be user defined. So we will go for the explicit cursor. So this is another example. So here I am giving a different variables, that is EID, whose type is of employee number of table employee. Similarly, name, whose type is of ename of employee table, and department, whose type is of department name from employee table. So I do not want to just mismatch the type. So directly I am using the type of the columns that are already given in the existing employee table. So that type only will be assigned to this variable in the PLSQL block. Now see, this is how the declaring the cursor. So cursor, the name EMP. By default for implicit cursor it is SQL. So here I am giving as a EMP is, then the statement, that is select EMPNO name and department from the employee. So I want to select employee number, name and department from the employee. So this is how my cursor has been assigned. Then begin. So open your cursor, that is open EMP. Now I know that because I'm selecting from the EMP, there can be more than one row. So that's why I'm using a loop. So starting with a loop, basic loop. So fetch EMP into EID, ename and department. So using this select statement, I already have some data in my cursor. So now fetching. So what I'm doing is moving the data from EMP to the EID, name and department. So assigning to the variables that are used in the PLSQL block. Now exit when EMP not found means I have to fetch the data. And the last row. So one by one, it will be fetching, like for employee ID 1, some name, then department, for 2, something name and department. So for it will check whether we have data at the next row. If yes, then it will continue the fetching. If no, then it will exit. So once it exit, you will display this that is employee ID, name and department. So one by one, when it is fetching, it will display the name, ID, name and the department. End loop. So now loop is closed. Then close your cursor, and then end your PLSQL block. So once you execute this query, you will get like this, that is employee ID, name and the department. So you will get PLSQL block as a successfully completed. So this is how you run your explicit cursors. These are some practical related questions that you can try out on the tables that you have created. Then here are some exercise, like to print the details of the first 5 highest earners from the employee, or update the salary by 15%. Then here are some code given, so you have to write, execute this and write the output. Here's another one. You can use this and perform this and check the output. So if you have any queries regarding the cursor, implicit or explicit, these are my details. You can contact me here. Thank you.